Hello, we're now going to continue with the area of strategic human resource management. I said earlier that personnel was an area within a company, a department if you like, a group of people looking to employ the best employees for the organisation. Then it moved on to being more considerate of the needs of not only the company, but the needs of the people working within the organisation. That began in the 1980s. It occurred in the Western world, Europe and the United States, and has developed further across the world in companies in other countries. But what has happened more recently is the move towards a strategic approach. A strategic approach involves a direction for the company, and it involves consideration of where the company is planning to go, its development over a period of time. It involves all the sectionation harmoniously to achieve the organisational's goals. I'll go through the sequence with you of this area. We need to consider first three elements. One is the organisational structure. Two is the human resource management of the organisation, and the third must be the consideration of the human resource objectives. So it does involve the need to plan. There's a famous saying, and that saying is, if you fail to plan, you should plan to fail. That was by a man called Abraham Lincoln. That statement still is evident today in business. When we consider planning, we're considering forward planning, looking ahead. That involves a number of considerations. The first of those is the vision and values of the organisation. The second of those is the mission and strategy of the company. And the third then being the setting of the objectives. What are going to be the objectives of the organisation when planning for the future? These objectives in the modern age must be referred to as SMART. SMART objectives by smart, clever, intelligent people running a business. So what does SMART mean? SMART is an acronym. The S means a consideration of the approach regarding the fact that it needs to be clever, okay, smart. We're talking about specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timed. All objectives need to be those 5 elements. So to consider that, we need then to consider the core business objectives of the company. Those core business objectives, if the company is making product, will be objectives to do with production, purchasing, marketing, sales, and then IT in the modern age, together with human resource objectives. What we are saying is objectives need to be set for all of those areas of the business. Then they are brought together and coordinated into the company's corporate objectives. This means the company is working in harmony. All areas of the business, all departments of the business are working together, planning for the potential future success of that organisation. To have a strategy means to have a guidance with relation to investment decisions. A company that is in the commercial area exists to make profit. What is a company going to do with that profit? To be successful in the future, it needs to reinvest some of that profit back into the business. So what should it do next year, for example? Should it extend the factory? Should it buy more land? Should it buy more machinery to fit into the factory? Or perhaps should it employ more people? Those people could be working within the factory, those people could be in the office area of the company, those people could be salespeople who are out and about from the company visiting clients and potential clients. Where should the company spend its money? So the financial decision, the investment decision, is vital towards the future of the business. And clearly, from what I said earlier, the importance of human resources in a business does mean that the company should be planning to spend some of its money retraining existing employees, developing them further perhaps, also looking to bring in additional people, and perhaps additional people with skills that are not currently amongst those employed. So these are considerations for a business. I'll give you a consideration. A company must make a decision for next year. It looks at one of the products that it does make and believes that it is likely to be selling less of that product next year. But another of the products that it is making, it appears to be selling out when it makes them. So it might make the decision to make less of product A, more of product B. If that is the case, it may need to strip out some of the machines in the factory that were used to make product A and now introduce more machinery in the making of product B. But then, what will that mean to employees? Can some of those employees be retrained now to work on the machines for product B as opposed to product A, or will they need to be asked to leave the company to be then replaced by other people? So that is a minor dilemma, just a company's consideration of two products, where many products made by companies are far greater than that. Many companies such as Heinz, Cadbury, make many, many more than 4, 8, 10 different products. Some of those companies are making 80 different products. So they are some of the considerations when they're looking at the next financial year. How to use their product opportunities to make money, how to use the employees in relation to those decisions. So we need to look to the future of an organisation, and I'm going to do it for the moment in relation to the decisions that need to be made when the human resource people are looking ahead. Companies should be looking ahead in 3 stages: short term, medium term and long term. Different companies operate in different industries and will have different time lengths in relation to that. Some companies may have a 1-year horizon for short term, perhaps 2 years for longer term, medium term, and the longest term might be perhaps 3 years or 5 years ahead. Some companies therefore are looking 5 years ahead. When they're doing that in the modern age, they need to consider employees in relation to that 5-year span of time. The things they need to consider are who. Who will we need for the future? Will we need more people with particular skills and therefore less people than we have now with other skills? We're actually wanting more people with developed skills for the future as opposed to the current stage. Then we need to consider when. We cannot change over immediately. We have to consider the phasing in of additional employees over a period of time. Then we need to consider where. Where in the world do we need these employees? If we're a multinational company, we may have offices in London, we may have a factory in Scotland, and another factory in China. Therefore, in the future, where will we need these future employees that we have identified? Will it need to be in London in the UK, or Scotland in the UK, or will it need to be in China, or should we be setting up an additional factory in another country entirely? So it's not just who we employ, it is actually where we employ them. We need to consider, to do with a given product, where we should have our factory, for example. If we're making product, should we have our factory near to where the company's head office is? Should we have the factory near to where the main resources are, the main materials to make a product? Should we have the factory near to where the cheapest labour can be attracted to work for our company? Should we have the factory near to where our market is, our main consumers in the world? Where are they? Might be in a different country entirely. So there we have 4 considerations only in relation to where we should place our factory, let alone where our employees for the future should be living and working for us in the world. And the final one of those, of course, is how many people will we need to have employed in the company in 5 years' time? Many companies in recent years have looked to downsize, to reduce the number of employees. If that is so, they need to consider on a sliding scale how many they need now compared to how many they will need in 5 years' time, and how they're going to reduce headcount on the payroll over that 5 years. Again, if they're looking to expand further, they need to do the reverse. How many people employed now and how many more people will be needed in 5 years' time, and where they're going to obtain this resource from to help them expand the number of people within their workforce. Thank you.